Okay, today I'm going to be reviewing both the Sony MH755 and MH750. And disclaimer, these are my personal units. I've not been paid or influenced to say anything good and bad about them. I will review them to the best of my abilities, and all thoughts and opinions are my own. So, the MH755 is pretty much legendary in this hobby as like a nice budget IEM, but the brother, the MH750, isn't as well known, but it's still decently well praised. But nowadays, um, the in this market, there's a lot of like fakes for MH755s, and I think now you can still get MH750s, but I can't verify if they're genuine or not. But I've found them on Amazon before, so get them at your own discretion. I'm I don't I didn't get mine from them. But I the reason why I wanted to review them is because I wanted to see how good they still are in 2022. And so that's what I'm here to find out today. So first, going over how hard it is to drive. Both IEMs don't require too much power to drive. They're your average IEMs really. So you can run them off your phone. For accessories, I have the IEMs, the stock tips, and the shirt clips. The shirt clips are alright, but I don't usually use shirt clips, so uh, that's it really. Um, Let me see. The stock tips are kind of bad. Like, I couldn't get a good seal at all with them, so I just used Final E tips instead, which helped me get a much better seal. And going over build, first I have to say the units that I got were MMCX modded, so don't expect these cables or anything to come with them. But for the build of the shells themselves, they're like your average bullet IEMs in terms of size. They're not too big, but their shells are kind of weird because look, they're short, right? They're short, but they got like a trapezoid shape to them if you look at it from the side. And so what that happens is that the part of the IM that's supposed to be going into your ear is wider, and the nozzle is small and short. So it's kind of weird getting a fit with this IM because it's like so wide and just weird. But as I said, Final Type E tips helped me get a good seal on them, so those are the tips I used. If you get other tips and they work fine, then good. So moving on to sound, I'm actually gonna keep like all my impressions kind of short for this one. And for bass, I think the bass is the most well-known part of this these two IEMs because they both have like a big sub bass emphasis, and they have enough like mid bass for songs that need mid bass to still be enjoyable, like hip hop and EDM. But there's not really any bloat or bleed into the mids, which is surprising because of how bassy they're supposed to be. And I think for the price, the bass has decent texture. Okay, going on to mids, I think the mids were a bit too much on these two sets because every time I listen to them, it makes me feel like lowering the volume when listening to songs with vocals, particularly female vocals. And while how forward the mid-range is makes female vocals sound good and more forward in the mix, female vocals actually don't sound as forward, and as a result, they might even sound a little recessed in the mids, which suck. Instruments are forward, but like they're kind of too forward. Like it gets really hard to listen to. Like I have to lower the volume, and I don't find there to be like too much texture here. And moving on to treble, my main gripe with the treble is that it's like fatiguing while it's like not extended well. With instruments like cymbals, it's pretty uncomfortable to a point where I have to like lower my volume when a song comes with cymbals and like all those instruments. And as I said, there's not a lot of treble extension, so like there isn't a lot of air, but it's not like I'm suffocating for air. So for technicalities, I find that for the price, they have pretty decent detail retrieval, but the soundstage isn't really wide, and imaging is like typical left, right, and center 3 blow up stuff. Layering and separation is about on par for the price, and that's to say they're nothing special. I actually found both iems to kind of sound compressed at times. There's this track I use called Canada from Acura's Symphonic Suite 2017 remaster, and in the beginning there's like a lightning strike, right? And with these iems it sounds pretty compressed. And yeah, that's I mean, it's for what's supposed to be $10 retail. I know you can't really get it for that price nowadays, but that's it. It's not bad. And so, final thoughts. I might have been a little critical of these two iems, but honestly, for the price, I think they're pretty good. And if you can get like an actual genuine set of these for like a decent price, I think they're pretty good, like budget set. But honestly, I think nowadays in the sub 50 and even sub 25 price range, I think you can get better. Alright, I think that's about it. See you.